Hello, I'm Simone Ross, CEO of the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. We partnered with PBS 12 to bring stories of women in the workforce to a new platform. These stories are real, they're raw. They show both the victories and the challenges women in the workforce are living. The statistics are clear. For every 100 men promoted to manager, only 81 women are. Also, women make only 29% of C-suite positions in the US as compared to men. These numbers are from the 2024 Women in Work report. Along with the challenges, we're seeing signs of change as well. In Colorado, we are closing the pay gap 3 times faster than others here in the US. So, how do we keep moving forward? Well, by learning from one another and sharing our experiences. And that's how Humanize, Women in the Workforce, was born. Over the past 4 months, we interviewed 12 different women, all in different industries and at different places in their careers. They come from different communities, too. It's my privilege to share these amazing women with you right now. In tonight's episode, we hear from Ally Spray, Barry Koné, and Jade Marquez. First up is Ally Spray, CEO and President of the Hispanic Contractors of Colorado.
My name is Ally Spray. I go with Ally, but my full name is Alejandra Spray. I'm the CEO President of an association called Hispanic Contractors of Colorado. We always have this notion that construction is a male-dominated industry. What we see in the labor, in the general managers, every level. But as years have gone by, more women interested in the STEM fields, more women proven that they have the skills, the knowledge, and the passion for construction, we're changing that narrative. It's no longer a male-dominated industry, it's a male-populated. There are women taking more leadership roles as owners, entrepreneurs, as architects, engineers, designers, construction managers. I was the only woman in my classroom. There were 23 male classmates, so in my graduation picture, I'm the only woman in a picture of 23 guys. People think it's my quinceañera or my wedding picture, and I say, no, that's my graduation picture. My teachers didn't treat me differently. They treat me as one of the guys. And that's one of my prides to see that picture for both my kids to see. If you have your passion, if you have a goal, you just have to fight for it. Then moving to the United States as a Latina, as a woman of color, moving into an industry that, again, we were thinking is only for men, white men, and trying to make my career advancement, and proving that I have the skills, the knowledge, that I went to school and have a degree. And when I moved here, my degree didn't transfer, so it was the language barrier, it was the cultural barrier, but I know that I wanted to be part of this industry. It was just finding my place where I felt comfortable to keep thriving and growing. It has always been a challenge, sometimes being the only woman in the room, being that voice. And we hear about the stereotype that you come too passionate. I've been labeled as outspoken, too loud, too Latina. But it's about that I'm the same. I'm this person, and when we see it with the male counterparts, we always feel like it's not the same standard. Male are advanced because they have the potential. They see the potential in them, but women are promoted based on performance. They have to perform a special project, make sure they give these results. There have been some sacrifices being in this point in my career. We say leadership has some sacrifices. I have the honor of being a mother of 2 teenagers. I was not the typical mom to be in their PTA meetings, volunteering. I was the mom that you tell me what you need, I'll bring it to you. I'll buy it from the store. But I was always honest with my kids at their level of understanding. The mom was not going to be always picking them up or being in the function at the school. But if they needed their mom for an emergency, mom will be there. And I explained to them how important was my career. To be honest, I don't think I regret anything. I know that this is what I wanted. My kids now, 16 and 19, they know the value, they understand their place in my life, and they see women can make it. People feel women are really hard on each other in this industry, and it is. The reasoning is sometimes companies don't give the same opportunities. We see there's an opening position, and all women, we're gonna fight for it. And also ageism is a factor. Women, as they get seasoned, they don't have the same opportunities as men in a different age. So Sometimes we're mean to each other because we're fighting for that opportunity to be seen, to be taken in consideration. And sometimes for my colleagues, when they're younger, it's like, oh, you're too young to be this project manager. Oh, I didn't know you will be in this meeting. If a man comes to the room and say, I have 20 years, they take it like, oh, yes, you do. A woman still always have to say, I've been in projects, I have run my business, I'm doing this. Even women trying to get loans for their businesses is hard because, again, they feel like, do you know the industry? Do you know the business? So it's still worth fighting, but we're not giving up that fight. Sometimes it's not just the pay, it's the title that we deserve it. And nothing gets me more a little passionate when people ask me why you need the title. And I say, because I'm tired to carry my resume to every room I walk into. The association has been around for 34 years, and they always have executive directors. So when they asked me for the opportunity to be in this role, I asked, yes, but I want to change the title to CEO and president. And that took them a little back, like, why? I say, because you deserve this title, and I deserve the title to go with it. And if you look in the industry and construction, most of these organizations, they have men, they get the CEO president title. So take it, think about it, and let me know. And a couple days later, they call me and say, yes, you can get the title. To advocate for myself and not be afraid to ask for what I wanted. It was a little moment of, oh, okay, they say yes. Wow, now what I do with it? But also a pride moment of, as a Latina, I negotiate what I wanted. For me, I want to see more women of color advancing and opening business and being successful. As in any industry, there's competitiveness, there's sometimes jealousy, but we identify the women, they're elevating each other and they're supporting because we know that we're not gonna be here forever. We have to support our younger generation and we have to make sure our voices are being represented in more rooms to open more space. So hopefully more women will see, I'm not competing, I'm just trying to also make my path as well. What I wanna see is the data. Is the numbers. How many women have stayed in this industry? How many women are being promoted, and not just in the field labor, but how many have been promoted to upper management, vice president, C-suite levels? Those are the numbers that I still want to see because that's really telling me you are investing and you really believe in the power of women. Being recognized with accolades by the Women's Chamber, by the LGBTQ Chamber, by my industry, it really fills me with joy because I came here 25 years ago with a suitcase and a lot of dreams, and I just wanted an opportunity to work. Being an interview here today in PBS, I was watching PBS when I was transitioning from coming to Mexico, from Mexico to the United States, watching all the kids shows, Sesame Street, Arthur, Curious George, just to get familiar with the English. And now being here and a seat here in PBS, a really well-respected station, is one success that I can just pat myself and say, I made it. So what I'm gonna do with this now, how I'm gonna elevate other women to say, you can make it too. I serve on the board of a STEM organization, STEM Blazers, and we inspire young women interested in STEM careers. And what we've seen is the representation, for them to see, for them to hear our stories, for somebody to hear an immigrant that was afraid to leave my apartment because I was afraid of getting lost. So sometimes I had to draw a little map in my hand, watching TV to learn the English. It's about the determination. It's about knowing that sometimes you will fail. It's about sometimes you will not always find the allies. But have the faith, there are people cheering for you. And then if you look around in this industry, you will find a female or woman that will say, I'm here. This sisterhood is here. We will help you, we'll protect you, we'll guide you, and we'll sometimes correct you too if you're trying to go in a different path that you're bringing us back to. So it's for those people or women that are looking, we all feel lost at one point. We sometimes question our skills, but don't let it last too long. Look at yourself in the mirror, make your power pose, call a friend, reach out to me, and if you need a pep talk, I will give it to you that you're capable, you're strong, you're smart. The only thing you need is the desire to keep fighting. It's not women versus men. It's about how we bring different skills, different perspectives, and we make a team stronger. We see construction as diverse. Diversity is in everything. We all have our backgrounds. We all have our ways of thinking. So it's not only the color of your skin, but we have to ensure that people feel included and they feel like they belong in there. So I work with, our membership is around 200, comprised by females, women starting their business in construction. The people feel, is your husband, is your father's business? women have started their business on their own. They have that degree and they started. So for me, it's talking to companies and say, it's not about the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. If you're talking about reaching out to local clients, why you don't reach out to local suppliers, to local contracting companies? And even my members' companies, they say, I don't want the job because I'm checking the box for you. I want the job because I'm qualified and capable of doing this work. So working to help people understand that diversity is part of our fabric. We are a great, and I don't call it the melting pot, it's the salad bowl. We all have a spice, we all have a flavor that we bring and enrich our community. It's how we include everybody in whatever capacity, how we make them feel welcome. We all want to provide for a family, we all want to create generational wealth, we all want opportunities, and we all want to be recognized for what our talents and our skills.
Thank you, Allie. Your words are very inspiring for women leaders everywhere. Next, we turn to Barry Koné, PBS 12's Business Development and Fundraising Manager.
My name is Barry Koné. I'm currently the Business Development and Fundraising Manager at PBS 12. I'm originally from Ivory Coast, where I was born and raised. My first language is French. I moved to the US initially for school. I moved here to Denver, where I attended DU's grad school in international and intercultural communication with a certificate in global health affairs. After my grad school, I applied for the OPT, which is optional practical training, and they usually give you 1 year for that. And so I had to find a job after graduation in the span of 3 months, or I would just go back home. So I was really applying everywhere and trying to find something that also suited me and something that also aligned with my values. Denver Food Rescue actually gave me this opportunity. When I started the job at Denver Food Rescue, after I think just a couple of months in, I fell pregnant and I felt disappointed, I think, feeling like I was letting down the work, but people there were very supportive, that's life. And while I was going through that, I also was applying for my green card. Everything happened there. I had a baby, then I had the green card, and I feel like things pretty much just happened naturally. So right now, he takes care of the baby while I go to work. I am currently the breadwinner, I would say, for my family. He decided to put his career kind of in the back burner and stay with the baby while I can focus on my career. Recently, I've been integrating the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. I'm currently doing the leadership lab, and I also moved into the second round of the interviews to be part of their boards. And I feel like those are the opportunities, I guess, that I see to kind of create that community around myself a little bit. Being around other women in the workforce and, kind of having the advice, being in the community that way. I feel like that's kind of what I've strived for right now. Everything seems great, but, being here, I've seen that racism is a thing. It made it a little hard because it made me very self-conscious of who I am, what I look like, not necessarily things that I would have to do if I was back home because, the majority of people are Black, but then there's different nuances with different ethnicities and tribe, and I feel like the way I sound too, maybe. I do have this accent. I've tried to, worked on it, but I feel like it's still there and I'm now learning to embrace it. I feel like it's part of me and it really had to be that, having that resilience, adaptability and, making sure that I stay determined regardless. But eventually, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can make it. I've seen women make it, and it was regardless of what they look like. It's really more about what you can do and your skills. That's why I've been so focused on getting my education and making sure that I had this higher education, because I feel like for me, it's always been I have to prove what I'm capable of because of what I look like. I feel like there's stereotypes. Stereotypes are subconscious. People are walking around having stereotypes and I can't let that stop me, but it's really about me accepting myself and realizing what I'm capable of. I know that it feels you stand really out because you don't look like anyone else. But I feel like that's also, it's helped me embrace like my uniqueness. I don't feel like any places I've worked so far here have, tried to push anything on me. For my hair, for example, I was really expecting to have to cut my hair, for example, to have like work. Some employers would discriminate and would not hire you because of the type of hair that you have. That's why a lot of women have to wear weaves and, making sure they have like straight hair and all that. So that's something I was really worried about, but it never ever like came up like, oh, you have to do this, or you have to change the way you dress, or, you have to speak differently. Nobody ever brought that up to me. I've been privileged and grateful that never happened to me, but I know that some people have had these experiences. The most fulfilling thing for me, I think, is the impact. I just love seeing, my work have a lot of impact. And I've had the privilege to do just that at Denver Food Rescue, and here too, like securing corporate partnerships and sponsorship for events. I feel like these are the things that really make me happy when I know that this funding is actually going to something that's impactful and that would help people in a deeper way. Denver Food Rescue definitely gave me a lot of that because, I knew that this money was directly going to purchase food, for people that didn't necessarily have the means to get these healthy foods on their plates or their family's plate. And here it's really all the impactful documentaries that we're doing, all of the stories that we're highlighting. I feel like these are the little things that just make me go every day. I know I'm doing something great. I'm not gonna save the world, but just doing something that has an impact is what I'm going for. My country right now is getting back, but growing up, the country went through 2 civil wars. That was really hard because, there's just this sense of insecurity, what am I gonna do with my future? Am I even gonna have a future? Am I gonna survive this? There's just so much unknown. And I feel like just coming out of that, it's made me, super resilient and adaptable, and also more determined, because I'm if I can show the way to my daughter or other little girls, and that they can see that, oh, she's doing this, and just having this visual representation of someone that looks like you, that's doing something impactful, it's just encouraging, and that's what I want. I want to be able to do a work that has a great impact and also motivates people to actually do better.
Thank you, Barry, for sharing your unique story. Our final interview is with Jade Marquez, Senior Lead Digital Experience Manager for Lumen Technologies.
My name is Jade Marquez, and right now my 9 to 5, I work for Lumen Technologies. My title is Senior Lead Digital Experience Manager. I'm scared every day, but recently I've learned you never know if you don't shoot your shot. And most of the time, if you just try, take that one step and that second step, it either works out very well for you, and it's a wonderful surprise and an ego boost, or you learn a very valuable lesson or lessons that you carry with you forward. I think, especially at Lumen, we have a fabulous female leader, Kate Johnson, who I think we're all obsessed with. And so that's amazing. I think that kind of really lights a fire under you when you see your leadership out there being amazing, transforming the company. It gets people intrigued. Maybe I do want to be in a leadership role. Maybe I do want to put myself out there. And I think that's a decision that everybody needs to make. I feel like women especially have this expectation of themselves. Oh, if you're tasked with this, then you must do the whole thing. Instead of, hey, I'm tasked with this, I collaborated, we came up with this. Maybe there's a little bit of fear of proving yourself, proving your value. And if you bring people in, maybe that might be seen as you can't do it yourself. I would say that probably I started my career with that energy, feeling if I didn't do it or if I asked for help that I wasn't meeting or exceeding expectations. What I've learned is to let go and to not be so tightly wound and to just kind of ask for help. Don't be shy. If you know somebody that's really good at something that it's kind of in your space, hit them up, see if they'll help, get their advice. Asking for help and letting go has been really huge for me. Now that I've been in the game And I've succeeded and I've failed and I've tackled challenges that I never thought I would achieve. I'll say ask for help immediately. Like as soon as you get that project, start hitting people up, asking questions. I would say 90% of it is asking questions and being quiet and learning. And then the 10% is like hitting the go and putting people in a room together. Like a team, everybody has their place and it's usually what they're good at. And then all of a sudden you get synergy. And so people can start picking up things that necessarily weren't in the description or, the assumption of your responsibility in the beginning. I love like that teamwork. I love looking around the room and being like, okay, well, if anybody could do it, it's definitely us. And not like, if anybody could do it, it's definitely me. It's like, no, it's us because I couldn't do it by myself. My two favorite leaders have been male. And they have been very, very into teaching me, but also uplifting my work. Like whenever my work is being talked about in the rooms where decisions are made, being like, well, this is Jade, let me have her speak to it. And that's something else that I have just recently realized is a huge green flag when it comes to your leadership, is if you're working on really great work, that they call you up to talk about it instead of kind of like grab that great work and talk about it themselves, but making sure that you're in those rooms so people know what you've done. I've been seen. I am valued. My advice would be sometimes if you're not being seen, that's not the right place. And as somebody who's struggled with like loyalty to a fault, releasing things that don't serve you is very important. And I would say like any good relationship, what you're putting in should be coming out. That keep your head down and work hard, and then you'll get noticed and promoted. That's what I was kind of told by my dad. No, don't do that. I would say work hard, talk about it loudly. If you are that type of person who can't talk about their work or themselves in a way that doesn't feel cringe or, brown nosy, then you can put yourself in a vulnerable position for people to take advantage of you. Proudest moments, when I worked for the Colorado Technology Association, one thing that brought me a ton of support and taught me a lot of things that I didn't realize that I needed to learn was participating in their Young Professionals Board. And so I wanted that for other folks, so started the Colorado Technology Association YoPro, where they can have speaking and leadership and thought leadership in the organization, have better networking opportunities, but also kind of start getting that board service experience. I think learning how to work with a whole bunch of people with different motivations, different perspectives on one thing is very hard, but 100% necessary. I would also say that creating a network is very important because what I always tell people, your network is your net worth. Don't forget it. I need other like-minded, professionally motivated women to talk to when stuff goes down. I can't tell you how many times I'd call them with, like, in my mind, an impossible situation, and we'd get together for a happy hour, and I would have women like who was in HR, who was, completely different areas give me advice. And I would take a little nuggie from each and come up with my own, like, okay, this is how I'm gonna handle it. And I know for a fact that if I didn't have them there to give me the advice that they did, I would not have made such strategic, smart decisions that didn't screw myself over. I think we should have more young professional boards because, you look at board service, that aren't young professional boards, and there's like no young people. And there's definitely not a lot of women. And so I think like getting people thinking about it potentially is also something I'm very proud of. In 2022, I was the chair of the Women's March Denver. I feel great about it. It's something that I've achieved. But marching right after Roe v. Wade was overturned was one of the most stressful, dark, painful learning moments of my life. And like all areas, it changed my feminism. It definitely taught me how heavy responsibility can be. But also, again, it taught me how to lean on the people that I'm doing it with, to ask for support. It was one of the largest things that I've done. I felt like my whole life was kind of leading up to that. My personal passion is, women's rights and gender parity in government and industry and in leadership. And so I felt like my whole life had led up to this. I don't think we need to change. I think allies need to change. I think people need to take a real look on what showing up as an ally looks like. I think we're out here doing the work, and sometimes it takes other folks also being like, hey, that's a microaggression, or like, hey, we don't have enough diversity in this room. Hey, how can we have this leadership, this thought leadership, when it's all white men who kind of look similar, wearing a same outfit? It's kind of like taking the allies, not necessarily women, men, other folks, to call these things out, because I think we've done enough. I think we just need to show up now and be our fabulous selves, because we do bring a different type of leadership, like we do bring a different perspective. Like, we are mothers, we're sisters, we do bring that. But I'm like, we've been bringing that every day. And so I think other people need to step it up now and open their eyes and realize diversity makes you successful. It makes you a good team. It makes people feel like they belong. Outside the box thinking happens, innovation happens, problems are solved. And so like, if you're into that, then you're into diversity, and you should be into allyship, and you should change.
Thank you, Jade, for being candid. Your words of advice are appreciated. 12 women, 12 voices, all incredible stories. We hope you've come away with some new insights and inspiration. To learn more about the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce, you can visit our website at cwcc.org. To watch all these stories and learn more about Humanize, you can visit pbs12.org or visit PBS 12's YouTube page. I'm Simone Ross. Until next time.